Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
The following is a Red Apple Podcast Network presentation.
They say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poet's part. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it.
Welcome to Dominic Carter's podcast. This is Dominic Carter's City Hall. Now, here's Dominic Carter.
Red Apple Podcast Talk Radio 77 WABC. You can listen to me, Dominic Carter, weeknights at midnight, Sundays 11 p.m. The senseless fatal shooting of 31-year-old NYPD officer Jonathan Diller, leaving behind a 1-year-old son. His wife, Stephanie, delivering his moving eulogy. A candid conversation with Paul DiGiacomo, the president of the New York City Detectives Endowment Association Police Union. This is my podcast. Let's go.
My husband died a hero, but he also lived as one. Our world will never be the same, but I know I speak for everyone when I say I could not be more proud of him. It's been 2 years and 2 months since Detective Rivera and Detective Mora made the ultimate sacrifice, just like my husband, Jonathan Diller. Dominique Rivera stood in front of all the elected officials present today pleading for change. That change never came, and now my son will grow up without his father. I will grow old without my husband, and his parents have to say goodbye to their child. How many more police officers and how many more families need to make the ultimate sacrifice before we start protecting them? I don't wish this kind of pain on anyone. Jonathan lived his life doing good for people, and it's now time for people to do good for all the officers he represents. Which reminds me, to all his friends in the 105, CRT, and the boys, he wanted me to say, I love you. Jonathan, Ryan, and I don't know how we're going to live without you, but I am so amazingly grateful for every single moment we had with you. Rest in peace, Jonathan, the man who captured my heart and now all of New York's.
Stephanie Diller delivering a powerful and emotional eulogy for her husband, calling out elected officials for inaction on crime. And with us now is the president of the New York City Detectives Endowment Association Police Union, Paul DiGiacomo. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, Dominic.
So you and I have known each other a long time, many, many years, and we've been through police officer fatal shootings before where officers unfortunately have been shot. But this one seems different. Why is that, Mr. DiGiacomo?
Well, I think the police in general in New York City have lost their confidence in city government, state government, and the federal government. All three entities of government have basically turned their backs on hard-working men and women of the New York City Police Department. And that's the difference, I think, between today and years ago and past homicides of members of the NYPD.
You know, that's an excellent point. I didn't look at it that way, that the political climate is completely different. So at St. Rose of Lima Roman Catholic Church in Massapequa, on Saturday, it was awash in a sea of blue as hundreds of cops stood shoulder to shoulder to pay their final respects to this young husband and father, Detective Jonathan Diller. And he was, of course, shot dead Monday in Queens. The city is in pain. The NYPD is in pain. Help us understand, if it's possible for you to explain first, the pain of the officer's family.
Well, there are no words to express the pain that this poor family is feeling. His wife, Stephanie, his young son, and the whole entire family is a legacy in the NYPD. And this is something they never thought they would have to endure. And the family is in a lot of pain. And it's going to take a long time for that pain to diminish a little bit. It will never go away. That's for sure. But the DEA, along with the PBA, will be there for these families today and forever.
Have you had the opportunity to exchange a few words with his wife, Stephanie, or is she just not up to talking to people yet?
No, I did. I spoke to her and explained who we were and what we're going to do for her in the future. And we're committed to taking care of that young family.
So the family of Officer Diller, his family members, someone told Governor Kathy Hochul that she had his blood on her hands and that she was not welcomed. Is that accurate? Obviously, you can't speak, Mr. DiGiacomo, for every police officer, but to the comment that blood is on the governor's hands, you say what?
Well, I think emotions are running very high right now, and it's because of what the politicians have done. Now, the DEA has been very vocal about the bail reform laws, and in fact that they are not working. We've been telling them for 3 to 4 years that they are not working and they weren't going to work. And they keep saying to us, well, the numbers don't reflect that. It's not all about the numbers. It's the tone and the message that's being sent by government officials to the criminal element, and it's empowering them and emboldening them.
No doubt about it. The family members are expressing that to Governor Hochul, that she was not welcomed. Why do you think that was said?
Well, I think because the Senate and the Assembly are constantly looking to enact bills to tie the hands of the police, and along with the city council. I'm going to say the same about the city council, because not once do any of these government bodies do anything and enact legislation to help the police, or do they enact legislation to help the victims of crime? No, it's always to help the people that are committing the crimes. And I think they've lost focus on what they raised their right hand and took an oath to.
Folks, we are talking with Paul DiGiacomo, the president of the New York City Detectives Endowment Association. And the NYPD is in tremendous pain right now, and so is the city of New York, in tremendous pain over what happened to this 31-year-old officer. And what you just said, Mr. DiGiacomo, I think every reasonable New Yorker would agree with you in terms of what the city council is doing, what the legislature is doing, in terms of also what the Democrats in the state Senate are doing. So, but what I am curious about is, in your opinion, why was Adams embraced at the funeral and permitted to speak, but Governor Hochul was not even welcomed at the wake?
Well, quite honestly, because the mayor agrees with us on these bail reform laws, and he agrees with us on the bills that the city council is trying to pass. He's trying to support the police in government, but the Senate, the Assembly, and the city council are not letting him.
And that is the bottom line. I couldn't have said it better myself. Now, also at the wake, you had the former president of the United States there to support the family, and a sincere gesture flew to Long Island. What did the Trump visit mean as far as you're concerned as the president of a major police union in New York City?
Well, it was more about what the family felt. They felt very honored and very embraced by the former president, and it was all about them and making them feel a moment of happiness that the past president of the United States of America was there. And I think they appreciated it. They applauded him when he was leaving. And I think it was important to the family, and it meant a lot to him. It's not what it means to us. Everything is about that family right now. We have to get them through these difficult times that they're facing.
Mr. DiGiacomo, you and I spoke the other night, and it was not a public conversation, but you were really upset over what had happened, and it was hitting you on a personal level. Again, that was a private conversation the other night between you and I. What do you say to the Trump critics that say he, and I don't agree with them, but this is the argument that they make, that he was looking to score political points by attending the wake?
Well, I didn't see that when he was there. He seemed genuine and sincere to the family. And again, this is what this is all about, the family. And if he was doing that, shame on him. If he wasn't and he was there in sincerity for that family, then I applaud him, and so does the New York City Police Department.
What do you make of the fact, and folks, we are talking to a great union leader, Paul DiGiacomo, the head of the Detectives Endowment Association in New York City. What do you make of the fact, or maybe I should ask you the question this way. How do you think the rank and file reacts to the fact that President Biden was in town to raise $25 million, but apparently did not even pick up the phone to call the family, and he did not attend the wake? How do you think the rank and file sees that?
Well, I think they feel it's disgraceful. And again, this is why the police in New York City lost total confidence in government. The least he should have done was either shown up at that wake and that funeral, or at least call that poor young widow. And they did not. But that goes to show you where their mindset is. And it's not in a good place, and it's not in the support of police in New York City and the police across this country.
You were at the funeral. What was, obviously it was sad. I saw Mayor Adams' remarks. We know that his widow delivered the eulogy. Stephanie, what was the service like?
Well, it was very moving. You know, that young woman had tremendous strength. And she made a very good point. She said that 2.5 years ago, we were standing in a church, and Dominique Rivera said that we need change. And it's 2.5 years later, and there is no change. And this goes back to our elected officials in the city, the state, and the federal government, that there needs to be change in regards to gun violence, and start caring for your police, the victims of crime, and stop pandering to the people that commit the crimes.
Albany is a big part of the problem, and the city council is a big part of the problem. Please elaborate.
Well, the reality is that, I speak to these elected officials. I speak to mothers that lost their children to stray bullets. We just had a 2-year-old child shot in the Bronx by a stray bullet. And the reality is that when I speak to these elected officials, they keep saying that they don't want to fill the jails with people of color. And New York City detectives don't want to do that either. They just want to fill the jails with criminals, okay? And the reality is that we don't want to fill the jails with people of color, but we also don't want to fill our morgues with people of color as well. And a high percentage of the victims of crime in this city that are shot are people of color, unfortunately, and it's young children that are just walking in the street or in a playground or walking to school or sitting on a playground step, and a stray bullet comes and kills that poor person. And when you speak to these mothers across this city, you could feel the pain and the anguish that they endure when you lose a child.
Mr. DiGiacomo, you and I are towards the latter years of our careers. You know, we plan to go for a while. But what you just said, why is it in some communities there's a sentiment where they don't understand that the police are there trying to keep people alive? That is the bottom line, as you just said. Why is that such a source, such a point of contention?
Well, I think the people in those communities, they do realize that. It's the elected officials in Albany that don't.
Fair enough. So Fox News reported that among the speakers that wanted to be given a platform to speak, Brian Kilmeade, my colleague here at WABC, also of the Fox News Channel, reported that that Governor Hochul and State Attorney General Letitia James wanted to speak at the funeral. Did you hear that? And that the requests were denied. Did you hear that? Is that accurate?
That I don't know. I'm not sure, and I can't speak to that. But I will say this, you can't have it both ways, okay? You can't look to defund the police. You can't look to handcuff the police on a regular basis and create legislation of more oversight against the police and then expect to be welcomed in a line of duty death funeral. It doesn't work that way. You have to support the police, help the police, and help us move forward to get this city and crime in this city under control. And that's not what they're doing. They're gearing up and they're looking to, again, help the criminals more than the victims of crime.
And it's sad. Mr. DiGiacomo, how did we get to this point where things are this bad in terms of it's amazing to me because when I see police officers, when I engage with police officers, I see individuals that want to help. I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. I don't see cops that are focusing on black, white. Maybe it's just the way they treat me. I don't know. Latino, Asian. I see people that get up every day and want to help others, and they're the first ones to put their lives on the line to go in there to protect someone they don't know. How did things get this bad? Because it's my contention that Black Lives Matter was a political bomb that went off in America and made things a million times worse on each side.
I think that's part of it. I think Black Lives Matter was part of the problem. But again, the other part of the problem is that I've never seen elected officials turn on the police to the magnitude I see today. And that's the problem. When the police don't have the support, an overwhelming support of our elected officials, that's when there's a breakdown in society and breakdown in the criminal justice system. And I think that was the turnaround here because I've never seen, the turn by so many levels in government that I think that's what the breakdown was.
So talk to me. I'm only going to keep you for a few more minutes. Talk to me for a few minutes about the damage that has been done by the New York City Council. In terms of, they want to they want police officers to fill out more paperwork. They're making the job harder. Why? Why, Mr. DiGiacomo? Why do you think they would do that?
This I can't understand. Like they've enacted a law it's called the diaphragm compression law. That when you're fighting a non-compliant subject and trying to arrest that subject, you can't put any pressure from the neck to the waist, back and front, which is an impossible task to do. And I challenge the city council, try and do it to me. If you could do it, then, I'll support your bill. But they enact laws that don't make any common sense. There was no reason to enact this law, the diaphragm compression law. There's no reason to enact this other law that Jumaane Williams is looking to enact. And they're doing it to dismantle, little by little, the New York City Police Department.
But how could that be? If we don't have the police, then what, Mr. DiGiacomo? If we don't have people like you and the members of your detective unions and the PBA and the sergeants and the lieutenants and the captains, if we don't have you guys, then what? And ladies, then what?
Well, I think that's a question for the people in the city council to answer.
Fair enough. Is there anything that I did not ask you? Because, again, it's a tough time for the NYPD. It's a tough time for the city of New York. All parties involved are mourning. Is there anything that I did not ask you that you feel it's important? And by the way, folks, I'm about to open up the phone lines. I'll be talking with you, 800-848-WABC, 800-848-9222. Is there anything, Mr. DiGiacomo, that I did not ask you that you feel at this point, right now, at this hour, needs to be articulated?
Yes, I just want to reiterate to the people of this city to please keep Detective Jonathan Diller's family in your hearts and in your souls and in your prayers. And let's pray that there are no other incidents like this moving forward, because it's very dangerous out there, and there are a lot of guns on the street, and there are a lot of people that are recidivists that should be in jail that are not in jail, that's causing all these problems.
So, Mr. DiGiacomo, how do you get the call yourself that an officer has gone down in the line of duty? And in this case, what was your immediate reaction?
Well, the call comes from the operations division of the NYPD, and the call came in, and we immediately responded to the hospital to assist in any way that we can. And I got to commend the detectives from the squad on the job that they did as well in enhancing this arrest. They did a tremendous job, and God bless them as well and their families. Mr.
DiGiacomo, how many years have you been on the job?
Well, 41 years, and my career is coming to an end in June, the end of June. And
wait a minute. You're stepping down?
Well, I'm aging out, so I have to step down, unfortunately, the end of June. But I will always be here for the members of the NYPD, and I will always be here for any of our line of duty families. They're very near and dear to my heart.
So wait a minute. First Lynch leaves me, and now you're telling me you're going as well?
I'll always be here for you as well, Dominic. Never a worry.
You've always been a straight up guy, and I'm just shocked to hear that. So detectives at a certain age, you're required to step down?
Yeah, well, everyone in the NYPD at a certain age is required to step down at the age of 63, and I'll be approaching that, in the upcoming months, and I'll have to step down. But I'll assist, my union and any members of the NYPD as long as I'm breathing on this earth.
Okay, so now you just opened a whole other can of worms, and I'll let you go in a second. Looking back at your career, now that you're going to step down, what's been the best part of it?
Well, the best part, is being a New York City police officer, then becoming a detective, and bringing some closure and comfort to families, victims of crime, was one great time for me, and also serving the greatest detectives in the world. I started out as a PBA delegate in 1988 or 89. Then I became a DEA delegate. Then I was elected onto the DEA board as a sergeant at arms, and then got elevated up to the treasurer, vice president, and then president. So it was a true honor, and it always will be a true honor to, work for the greatest detectives in the world. They really do an amazing job, and there's never a high-profile case that goes unsolved. They always solve these cases within a matter of, if not hours, a few days, and they truly are the greatest detectives in the world.
And so, they have that television show, 48 Hours, and on A&E. Is it true that basically your detectives, that the window of opportunity is generally within 48 hours when a crime or murder is committed?
Yeah, it's usually in a homicide is usually the first 48 hours is when you really hit the streets hard and trying to gather as much information as you can. But yeah, it's on Netflix, and it's called New York Homicide. And the detectives on that show have amazing stories and did tremendous jobs in these homicide investigations. I strongly urge people in the public to watch it and see what New York City detectives do on a regular basis.
Mr. DiGiacomo, I got to let you go, but what's been the worst part of the job, looking back at your career?
Well, days like this when we lose members of the NYPD. And over the years, I've lost quite a few of my friends and colleagues, and even if they weren't colleagues and friends, being at the hospital when we lose that detective or police officer is always going to be the hardest part of this job.
So I always say, this is the last question, like when folks call up, as they're about to do now, they say, why isn't the NYPD doing more? And I try and explain to them, why are they doing more? And I try and explain to the public that you could make 1 million arrests, that if the prosecutors don't prosecute, it's out of your hands. Is that accurate or not?
Well, we do. We're making more arrests now than ever. And because of the bail reform laws, the prosecutors' hands are tied as well on what they could do. So it's got a ripple effect, and that's what Albany doesn't understand. And they need to speak to the experts before they enact laws, and they never do. And that's the problem. The city council, the Senate, and the Assembly never speak to the experts before they enact these laws. They just enact them. And that's not a smart thing to do.
Well, Mr. DiGiacomo, Paul DiGiacomo, the president of the New York City Detectives Endowment Association, it's been a great pleasure chatting with you, even under these very, very difficult circumstances. And I'm sorry to hear that you're going to be retiring very soon, but I wish you the very best. I know that you gave your heart and soul to this city, and all I can do is say is thank you. Thank you for your years and years and years of service. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you for your friendship, Dominic. I appreciate you as well.
Again, the president of the New York City Detectives Endowment Association, Paul DiGiacomo. And that is all the time we have for this episode. Thank you, folks, for joining us. You can catch me live on 77 WABC, weeknights at midnight, Sundays at 11. Go check out the Dominic Carter merchandise at the 77 WABC store. From Dominic Carter t-shirts to hats and much more, go to WABCRadiostore.com. Also, you can order my remarkable book on my life of overcoming obstacles that you can't even begin to imagine at the 77 WABC store. It's titled No Mama's Boy. You can also get the book at my website, DominicCarterOnline.com. DominicCarterOnline.com, where the book will be signed by me. Also, follow me on YouTube, where you will see videos from me about this podcast and the radio show. YouTube.com/Dominic Carter. We will see you the next time. Dominic Carter, Red Apple Podcast, Talk Radio 77, WABC.
I gotta make it.
Dominic Carter socials on Twitter at Dominic TV and Facebook and Instagram. Dominic Carter TV. Email at dominic.carter@wabcradio.com. Until the next episode, be well. And as Dominic always says, stay positive. The glass is always half full, never half empty. Dominic Carter City Hall.